Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller, and I am so excited. This weekend is our first ever Golden Gal Network retreat. I feel like all week I've just been so excited, like finalizing all the little details and getting all of my supplies to Herman. I am so excited. We have a great group of girls who are signed up, and on one hand, like, I'm just a teeny tiny little bit nervous because, and it's not just like for the Golden Gal Network, it's for any trip that I plan. I'm always like petrified that I accidentally booked the wrong thing or, it's the wrong date or things like that. But I am pretty meticulous in how I like plan things. And so I keep reminding myself, like, it's all going to go great. We have everything together. Like, there's no need to stress, no need to freak out. Like, everything how it's meant to be, it will be, and it'll be great. It'll be amazing. So I'm so excited, and it's going to go great, right? For the next one, like, it's just going to fuel me, right? Like, I keep saying, like, in my head, if it goes well, then, and I'm trying to change that like phrasing in my brain and say, when it goes well, then, not when. Yeah, when, not if. So I'm really excited. And if you're in the Kansas City or surrounding areas, or even if you're not in Kansas City, like, Golden Gal Network is for everyone. And I mean, even this, like, the retreat weekend is not in Kansas City. So even if you live somewhere else or you're interested, like, you can definitely follow along. It's so much fun. And this Friday for our Ask the Gals segment, I have 2 submissions. If you ever want to submit a question, you can DM me at Golden Hour Drip on Instagram. And a little bit of housekeeping. Make sure you rate, review, subscribe, all the things. I really would appreciate it. And wherever you don't listen, so say you're listening on Spotify, if you would go to Apple Music and also give a little rating, or go onto YouTube, because I do post videos of the episode as well. Subscribe. It would mean the world to me. And also we post TikToks and Instagram Reels. So little bits of content. But yeah, I truly appreciate your support and your follow. Before we get into the submissions, I kind of want to do a question beforehand. Last time we did questions at the end, which was great. But I do want to do a question, do a little bit of me first. Let's see. Did I already do this? I don't know. I feel like I need to switch up my deck because I've had these cards like in my purse, in the vehicle, and just like everywhere, that I need to like replace the ones here. But best concert you've ever been to? The best concert I've ever been to, honestly, was Carrie Underwood. I went and saw her not last December, but the following December, I think. I went with my very good friend Jenny, and honestly, like, seeing Carrie Underwood, it's like, yes, she is, I love her songs. Okay, like, definitely something I used to listen to like religiously as a kid, like country music. Like, she was just so iconic, especially like after she won America's Got Talent, right? Like, that was her ode. That was like a huge show when I was going up. But it went further than that. One, just such a performer, like on stage, amazing, beautiful, stunning. And just like the passion that she had. The different elements of the show were amazing. Like, it was just so passionate. And I feel like whenever you go to an event that just fills your cup like that, you are transformed. Like, you are just so much more inspired than how you were before you went. And I really enjoy any sort of performance, comedy show, whatever. I love watching people like excel in their craft, which reminds me, not only do we have the retreat weekend this weekend, but we also have 2 other events coming up in June. We have our comedy show, which is a performance, on Friday, June 14th. And then we have Yoga in the Park, June 23rd. Is it the 23rd? Yeah, it's a Sunday. So we have 2 of those events if you're in the Kansas City or surrounding area. Would love to have you. But yeah, I just love these Ask the Gals cards. I think that they are so insightful to just hear what other people have to say. And you might feel like you know someone and then they answer a card and you're like, oh, I did not expect that at all whatsoever. So our first submission, let's get into it. My coworker is extremely flirty and always hits on me during work. I think he is also super cute and want to meet up after work, but the flirting doesn't ever get to the actual plans. How do I get our relationship / flirting out of the work zone? All right. I feel like we've all had like a work crush, or, somewhere that is not like, we see this person every day. Class is a great one, where you're in school and you see like this person every single day and you just think that they're so cute. Or maybe this person at work, or whatever environment that you're in, it's like a daily environment. We can kind of like, I don't know if it's like Stockholm syndrome, but we can think that like these people are absolutely amazing. And it's just because like we're with them all the time. There's also like, whenever you think of like the dating shows, like The Bachelorette or The Bachelor or Love Island or whatever, you find the contestant, right? And you might have these opinions of the contestant of, oh, like they're not that pretty, or, oh, like their style isn't that really good. And then throughout the season, you think, oh my gosh, like they must have hired a makeup artist. Like there's a conspiracy that once you get to like the final 4 or final 5 or whatever of The Bachelor, that's when like you get a makeup team. But that's not the case. Like there actually is no makeup team. You just find these people more attractive because you've gotten to know their heart, their soul, like on TV, right? Even if it is a filtered version, you get to know them. And so that you think that they're more attractive, and you think, oh, it must be the makeup. Oh, it must be this. No, it's you getting to know their heart, which is not good, not bad. Like it's what it is. But sometimes we might think that our work crush is like amazing and like the perfect person. But sometimes they actually aren't the perfect like relationship material kind of person that you're looking for. And that might be why it hasn't moved out of the work zone, because the other person might just think it's fun. Like, oh, it's a way to pass the time at work. Or they might also find you attractive, might find you cute, but not wanting to take it to the next step because they in their head think it's surface level. That could not be the case in your situation. He might actually not be picking up what you're dropping, right? Like he might not know that you actually want to continue the relationship, that you want to get to know him outside of work, or you want to pursue a dating relationship. You can always make the first step, right? You can say, hey, like, do you want to find plans after work? I don't know, like maybe not keep, like don't have it open-ended like that. Maybe be like, hey, do you want to grab a cup of coffee after work? Or do you want to go grab drinks after work? Or do you want to meet up before our shift tomorrow? Or like whatever it is, whatever you like to do, whatever you think would be cohesive to your relationship, and offer that. Like, hey, do you want to go for a walk tomorrow? Or maybe not tomorrow. Okay. I keep saying like tomorrow, maybe a couple days in the future, right? Like, oh, on Friday, like, do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to go bowling? Like have a plan. Not saying that the other individuals shouldn't also like try and make a plan, but that way it's like concrete and you know if this individual is like serious, because if they're serious, they're going to show up, right? Like if they're not serious, then obviously they're not going to come. But you could be like, oh, Saturday, I want to see this movie. Do you want to come? It's at 1 p.m. That's a weird time for a movie. It could be whatever time. Like just have that concrete plan. So you can say, hey, meet me here at this time on this date. And the person is either going to be like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I'll be there. And then he can come and it'll be great and amazing. Then you can figure out, do you guys have chemistry? Do you not have chemistry? Are you going to continue on? Should have just stayed in the work zone? Or like, is this actually great? He could flake out. He could be like, actually I have plans. If he says he has plans, then it's in his court. Okay. Don't be like, oh, what about Tuesday? What about Wednesday? What about this day? The ball is in his court. He could be like, oh, I'm busy on Saturday, but, the following Saturday I'm free or whatever. Okay. And you guys kind of plan that way. Or he could say, yes, like I'm going to meet you there, and then him never actually come. Okay. And then that you need to start looking for another job. Okay. Okay. Honestly, like work relationships are really hard though. Especially if it doesn't work out, you need to know what's your plan for that. Like if you guys do go on a couple dates or you do get serious and then decide like, hey, this isn't going to work out. Are you going to quit? Is he going to quit? Are you going to be able to work together still, right? Like breaking that barrier of work friends to something more can be fun in theory, and also can be very fun when you're reading books, like a cute little meet cute. But is it actually like what you want to do with your life? Sometimes the flirting is the best part. Okay. Like it doesn't need to go any further. Like it is what it is. This is the peak. Okay. You have to decide for yourself if this work friend is going to be something more. Those are some great ways you can test the relationship. But ultimately, is this something you want to jeopardize, or are you just experiencing Stockholm syndrome? Okay. I promise you, there are plenty of boys out there, plenty of other people who would love to take you on a date. Take that initiative, make the plans, do all the things. But hey, like it's your life. Spin the wheel. Whatever you would like to do is going to be perfect, right? Like do it for the lore. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. This summer, I'm offering babysitting and dog walking services to my neighborhood. My rate is $13 per hour for babysitting and increases slightly if there is more than 2 children. Lately, I felt like a few of my families have been trying to pay me less than the agreed upon rate. And when I correct them, they start to argue and say things like, back when I was a sitter, it was $20 for the night. How do I get these parents to take me seriously? Nobody wants to feel like their services or the work that they are doing is not appreciated. And babysitting is hard. When you are watching children of any age, you now have the liability and the pressure of these children's well-being. $13, in my opinion, is almost a little low. Like, I feel like there is so much that goes into babysitting and making sure that the children are entertained and enriched. And usually you have to pick up, like you're making them a meal maybe, or, you're watching them all day, taking them to the pool, reading them books, putting them to bed. Like there is so much that go into babysitting that it can be frustrating to have your parents say, actually, like, I'm sorry, your rate's 13. I thought it was 10, or just like hand you some bills and it's not the right amount. Personally, that's hard. But if you maybe I don't know, like if you ask for a deposit of the night, maybe that would be good. If you have a Google sheet, I feel like if I were babysitting like right now today, I would have a sign up Google, like not Google quiz. What are they called? Yeah. Google questionnaire or whatever. Google form. It's called Google form. I would have a Google form and I would be like, what's your name? How long are you going to be gone? I would have a spot where it says, my rate is X, minimum this many hours. If you have 2+ children, it's going to be X rate more per hour. Do you agree to this? And they have to like type their name or something, right? I would have it in my sheet. I feel like verbal commitments are difficult because they can always like go back and be like, well, is that what you said? I thought we agreed upon this, right? And especially like if they want to text you, that can be really annoying. Or if they feel like they can almost haggle with you, like it makes you feel icky. You're set out to do a job. I would definitely get some sort of spreadsheet, start writing it down specifically. Maybe you have a Facebook post. Maybe you're just texting people. Maybe it's word of mouth. However you are getting your clients, I would have something written. And when I say like deposit or prepay, like a prepaid option could be the choice that you'd like. The only problem is if they go past the time. Like I had growing up when I was babysitting, like the parents would say, oh, we'll be around like 10 or 11. Like sometimes it could be 12, like sometimes it could be whenever. And like that's fine. But if they would have prepaid and then like were a couple of hours late, I could see how that might be harder to get like the rest of your money. So maybe a deposit of like half and then the rest is due like after. I don't know if you're getting paid in just cash or you're getting Venmo or like whatever. But I would definitely have some sort of like, I don't want to say contract because it's not really a contract, but I would have somewhere where it's written out, this is what we're doing. This is my rate. And then something when I was babysitting or doing odd jobs, because in Iowa, we rock picked, where we would literally go to a field and pick up rocks out of the field, so that it wouldn't damage the farmer's equipment. I also detasseled, where I pulled the like middle part out of a corn stalk out, so it couldn't self-pollinate. It would have to like cross-pollinate with the row right next to it. That was hard work. What else? And babysitting. Honestly, those were like my 3 jobs growing up. Or sometimes like we would do, I don't know, like clean up someone's yard, mow, things like that. And whatever it was, I was always looking for money as a kid, like we all were. Money to go to the movies, money to buy, Claire's was huge. Okay. Like buy something from Claire's and, Aeropostale, like having your own money is important, especially as a kid. And so I remember like doing these things, and my mom always said, like, if I had someone I didn't normally have would be like, oh, can you babysit our kids? And discussing pay is really hard. And especially when you're a kid and you're talking to an adult. And I remember my mom saying it doesn't matter essentially. When you get paid, it doesn't matter. It matters, right? Like you get your money, but she always like gave me the confidence to say no the next time. She would always say, you know what, you go and do the job, they pay you what they pay you, and if it's not good enough for you, like if you don't think that was right, you always can say no the next time. She always empowered me in that way. Like you can say no the next time. If you guys agree or they're like, yeah, I'll pay you. Actually, one of our neighbors was so amazing. Sue Kirchhoff, I love you so much. But she was like my main rock picking gal. She hired me and my siblings, and she would like issue us checks. Like she was a business woman, and her rate was great. And I remember like getting those checks and feeling like I was the richest person in the world. And I always felt so good. Like she would tell us the rate, she would have it itemized. Like she was so good about that. And then I remember like I would babysit for a family and they'd pay me, I don't know, $40 or whatever. And if their kids were hellions, like I always felt so empowered to be like, no, like next time my mom would be just tell them you're busy, tell them you can't do it. Right. You always can say no the next time. So if you have some problematic parents, telling them no, saying, you know what? No, sorry. Because you have gypped me because, you aren't following my guidelines or not the agreed upon rate, or you can just say I'm busy. Like if you don't like that conflict, sometimes that's difficult. Like to have the conflict, you can also charge them a penalty. It's very hard. And honestly, like it's just a good lesson. Some clients are going to be hard. And in your life, if you are ever like in entrepreneurship, it's usually the people who haggle you or who don't pay you enough. Like those are usually your worst clients. And you always feel so much better when you drop those clients, and it gives way to like better clients. So maybe you babysit this summer, maybe you dog walk too, and you decide babysitting is for, terrible, it's horrible, you don't get paid enough, and dog walking is better. Maybe, I don't know how old you are. Maybe you, try a different job next year. Maybe you try to get hired where someone is going to itemize it and give you an hourly rate. Because, babysitting is not for the faint of heart. It can be difficult. It can be hard. So good luck in your summer raising money endeavors. Thank you to whoever and everyone who listened to this podcast. If you have any submissions, you can always send them my way. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe, all the things. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.